Hello, I'm Ray Braun, and I'm in a golden state of mind today. Not that we won the NBA championship for the second time in a row. We actually came a few points short of that. But I am talking about how the Golden State Warriors' winning record during this past year, and actually 2 years, unprecedented in NBA history, has helped me to enjoy a new life with a Parkinson's diagnosis. Appreciate you indulging me a little bit today with in talking about this. It's part of my speech therapy. But my initiative with dealing with PD is making every victory count. That's from the Davis-Finney PD Summit that we're participating this year. Make every victory count. Well, the Dubs have given me more than enough victories to count lately, and that experience has been the touchstone of a literally opportunity to crowd out depression by becoming a little boy in a 67-year-old body. Congratulations then to the Golden State Warriors. This, by the way, is the trophy from last year, a replica of the NBA championship. There won't be one for this year, but we don't need one. They had 88 wins this year. No one in NBA history has matched that, including Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson with the Lakers. Nobody. 88 times wins. And back-to-back trips to the NBA Finals is not shabby either, considering that they won the first shot. They came up a few points short, but they gave me exactly what I needed, which is a lot of wins. And this recent run from 2014 to present, with 171 victories, interesting enough, has coincided with my initial PD diagnosis and my successful turnaround in following that. Perhaps my joyful period of disease slowing and reversal that I have right now is just the honeymoon period. If so, I want to keep extending that honeymoon and maybe figure out how to make it permanent. But in the summer of 2014, I was suffering from depression, mood changes, irritability, and as I first adjusted to learning that I had PD, the tremors, the insomnia, the constant fatigue, scary falls, drooling, slurred speech, the right side of the body shutting down, loss of dominant hand dexterity, herky-jerky driving, terrible shoulder pains, all that on top of diabetes, edema in the legs and feet, and ulcerative colitis were giving me plenty of reasons that summer of 14 to feel a lot of sadness and grieving. Well, at the time of the diagnosis, interesting to me is as a season ticket holder of the Golden State Warriors, I was intrigued that they fired the coach and they replaced him with a TV broadcaster with no coaching experience. Steve Kerr brought in a whole new mindset, a new way of thinking, and I thought that's what this body needs, is a whole new way of thinking. And by early winter, several months later, when basketball season started, thanks mostly to sentiment and exercise, the physical symptoms that I experienced were much improved. But the exercise attitude was still apathetic and inconsistent, and sadness was still prevalent. So I decided to fire the CEO of this body, and I replaced him with a guy who was resilient, can-do, will-do, tough-minded, like Steve Kerr. A no-excuses guy replacing the guy who used to run this body, who put too much control in the hands of Mr. Parkinson. So I must say, first of all, it's hard to be sad when you're experiencing the amount of joy that the Dubs have brought me during this past couple of years. They would go on this stretch of winning an unprecedented 171 games out of 205, along with back-to-back trips to the NBA Finals and one championship and one runners-up. But an unexpected bonus that was that this entire past preseason, season, and postseason was funded 100% by money I made from scalping tickets that we didn't go to. So I'll gladly watch 23 games on TV in a season if that means that it funds us to have fun at 26 regular season games and 7 of the expensive playoff games. That was a one-year fluke, but hey, if I could have some fun while improving my health all for free, that's a good deal. So the Warriors, the one thing that I wanted to point out about them is they have one of the most resilient groups of players ever assembled. Virtually each one of them has their own story of beating some kind of adversity, and you know, 5 guys had career-threatening injuries to overcome. 4 starters overcame big nosedives in the draft because nobody wanted them, and others had to deal with the adversity of going from being starters and stars to being off-the-bench role players. But they taught me a whole new way of thinking. Winning became something to be expected, and I adopted their no-excuse mindset for my exercise program and my overall PD life management program. No excuses. The bonus of all this was the valuable experience to develop the habit of making every victory count. The Warriors gave me lots of practice time to work on my own celebration rituals, which included rewatching every game on DVD that was a win the next day, and highlights from two or three different shows, and that was just the beginning. But we certainly milked every win to the max, and yeah, just a year and a half ago, I was depressed, and I quickly discovered that while celebrating Warriors victories, I was feeling better physically. So I thought, hey, if I can manufacture my own dopamine by enjoying a Warriors win, why not come up with ways to translate that to everything in life? If we were so busy celebrating and in the spirit of gratitude all the time, maybe we could just keep disease at bay altogether. So it's hard to feel sorry for yourself when you're screaming and moving and chanting Warriors at the games. And since this idea, I do think that this idea of living in the moment and continual pursuit of joy may sound a little hedonistic or self-centered, because it is. So I started experimenting with experiences involving other people. I started by knocking off several items off our shared bucket list my wife and I had put together for travel, and then we moved on to things like shows and concerts with my wife, friends, clients. And a big impact came from making the most of personal successes of other people. My daughter, my wife, my family, clients, friends, and myself too. Maximizing fun at family get-togethers became more important. Eating out with spouses and friends experiences became more important. All these provide excellent opportunities to celebrate victories and get some positive chemistry working for everyone. Now, since I'm still coaching business owners full-time, I got countless opportunities to celebrate client successes every day. And also, I have a prayer group that we've been meeting with for 17 years, and they provide lots of celebrations of our small, important, our small faith community. But these things are all important parts of my recovery process. Then I started noticing that the more you live in the moment, the more it seems to sharpen your awareness to simple pleasures in life. You know, there's things, bigger things like completing your exercise routine for a day, or taking back activities that Parkinson's had taken from you, like swimming and hiking and gardening. But then there's the little things, just eating a healthy meal, watching a deer walk by my backyard behind me, admiring the hawks swooping down on my patio like I do every day. Hummingbirds feeding on the abundant flowers that I've provided for them. Watching birds and ducks bathe in my waterfall. Relaxing under the shade trees that I've made flourish. Enjoying just the sunshine and energy of life that is being provided in living in the sunniest, one of the sunniest places in the world here in Northern California, in Fairfield. The dog is hilarious, just laughing at the dog. So the more I made living in the moment a habit, the more awareness I developed for authentic happiness. And now, even if my depression and anxiety was only moderate, it's just great that it's gone all together now. And the real bonus is that at least at this stage of the disease, the physical symptoms and the physical feeling is much better than it was in a lot of ways. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And the areas that are getting worse, like speech, are not really impacting my pursuit of joy and happiness. And overall, I'm much stronger in mind, body, heart, spirit. So I'm going to have to wait till November for the Warriors again, but the Golden State Warriors have showed me a way, and I'll figure something out to fill the void. Besides, a Golden State of mine, for me, is more than just the Warriors. I'm talking about healing in the Kintsugi way. And let me put this up here and see if I can give you an example of Kintsugi art. If you can see this golden resin, well, this rock was broken into many pieces, and it was pieced back together again and cleaned up, and then golden resin is what adheres it together. Now, the result of taking pottery, Japanese Kintsugi method, and repairing it with golden resin had the impact of making the completed object was stronger and more valuable than ever before the broken pieces were. And one of the important lessons I've learned about Kintsugi art is brushing out and sweeping out the broken pieces that don't fit the future self is very important. If you don't make room for the gold, everything will fall apart. So that sounds like 20 years before this, of the Warriors losing seasons. They brought in new owners, and the new owners fired old talent and replaced it with new talent and new character, and that's what's happening here. There's a new sheriff in town, and he's replacing the bad mental thoughts and bad habits with good ones. And guess what? He's making room for the gold. Now, I want to conclude this with a gardening metaphor, because I'm a gardener. And I'd sum it all up like this. I was blessed with 60 years, more than 60 years, of growing in the most lush, rich, verdant soil right next to the stream. And then a couple of years ago, I was suddenly ripped out and transplanted to a steep, dark, dry, arid part of the garden. And you know, my mom, who passed away many years ago, but she was my master garden mentor. And she would have said something like, don't worry about where you're planted, just bloom where you're planted. So just bloom where you're planted. Thank you.